Today I'm going to spend time with Wendy Edey. Some people know her as the Hope Lady. Wendy is a psychologist who specializes in hope, and today she's going to share with us how hope can help us in this journey. What a psychologist does.
Well, psychologists do many things, but I am a counseling psychologist. So my work is all about promoting good mental health for people, no matter what kinds of problems they face, their own good mental health that makes them more able to deal with whatever they need to deal with.
Now, everyone's journey with dementia, of course, is very different, but why is hope so important to us, and what exactly is hope?
Well, hope is one of a number of positive emotions that are currently under study and research at various universities around the world. Hope is an emotion that is both healthy and positive. And when we have hope, it means that we're able to think about the future, but also be okay in the present. And that is particularly important when we're thinking about dementia, because when we first think about dementia, we think how frightening the future is, how terrible the future might be.
Yeah.
And it is important to find ways to be able to think about that future and plan for it if we must, but still be okay in the present time.
When I think about hope as it relates to dementia, I find myself thinking about hoping for a cure. Is that common?
At first, when people first think about hope and dementia, the first thing they are hoping for, of course, is a cure, which is what we're always hoping for when we visit a doctor or we have any kind of medical contact with a disease. But we don't always have the control to make a cure happen just when we want it to happen. So hope is a very motivational sort of thing, things that we hope for, we sometimes work towards. And as time goes on, people begin to extend their hopes beyond the idea of hoping for a cure. So they begin to hope for other things. For example, care partners start to hope that they could find some help. They start to hope to find the ways that their loved one can be comfortable. They hope for rest. Some of them even hope to go on holiday. The important thing is to focus your hopes on things, to realize that we're still allowed to hope to have things, even if we don't know just how we could get them right now.
I'm sure some people feel conflicted about hoping for things when they have a family member who's living with dementia. What are some things that we can do to be more hopeful?
Well, one of the ways that we can be more hopeful is to notice the world as a very hopeful place. If, for example, you listen a lot to the television news, you could be struck with the idea that nothing good is happening in the world, that nothing ever turns out well. But actually, in our own personal experiences, we often find that some things have turned out much better than we expected. We had a loved one who was ill and we thought we wouldn't be able to cope, but then we could cope and things turned out better than we expected. So one important thing that we can do to be hopeful is to remember times when we had to face something really tough and then think about how we got through that. And how perhaps it wasn't as hard as we had expected it to be. So that is one way, is connecting with memories.
Do you have more ideas to share?
Isolation is one of the biggest robbers of hope going when we sit back in our own place and ruminate on what might be wrong and struggle over what we should do. Out there in the big world, there are many people who have ideas, many people who can make us feel better just by being with us. So when we're out there with them, when we stay connected, even if we feel like we're too tired to see friends, we're too tired to go out, we couldn't possibly do anything social, this is probably one of the most important cues that it really is time to get out there and understand the broader world and take advantage of the warmth that other people can offer.
Can you tell us more about how people can maintain hope over time when they're dealing with a progressive disease?
You know, getting used to a disease is really a process. And at the beginning, we just have this big, terrible future ahead, but something that happens over time is that we do learn how to deal with things. And we do get used to things. And I know it seems sort of trite to think about that at the beginning. Oh, well, you'll get used to it and you will learn how to deal with it. But it is one way of thinking toward the future. Remembering again times when you did get used to something, times when you did learn how to cope with it. We can hope to learn new things. We can hope to discover new ways to have personal growth, to appreciate the things that are happening in the present. We can, in the long term, be hopeful through all these things.
Leaning on friends is so important, but a lot of people struggle with asking for help from friends and family, don't they?
They do. One of the biggest things that makes us struggle, of course, is that we think that other people are too busy to help. And also, in our society anyway, we've come to really value independence, that idea that I can do it by myself and I will do it by myself. In times, though, when we really need other people, and care partners do need other people, times when we really need other people, I think it's better if we think of the world as an interdependent place where people do depend on each other for different things at different times. And some care partners have told me that, well, they really can't reciprocate right now. So they don't want to ask anyone for help because they have no time or energy to help back. But I think over the course of a lifetime, often many of us have provided help to people and haven't expected anything in return. And so if we have been helped in the past, we've had opportunities to pay it forward. And it's easier to ask for help if we think in those terms rather than if we think of what an inconvenience it really is. One of the things that makes it the best to ask for help from anybody, and that includes adult children or friends or neighbors, is to kind of get clear in your head the kind of help you need. So if you can say to people, I need someone to stay with Jack for an hour while I go out for coffee, or I really need someone to come to the doctor when Jill and I go to help ask questions and hear the answers and maybe park the car, or we just need some people to come over and have fun with us. Like, we just need to have some fun in the evenings. If we can think about help in those terms and be specific, often people are more willing and able to help than we think they would be.
Do you have any ideas about how we can ask for help?
Well, the most important thing is to banish the thought that people don't want to help and that they're too busy. The idea that people haven't offered to help is no proof that they aren't willing. People just don't really know what to do often, and they're not very comfortable. There are a few wonderful souls in the world who already have a sense of what to do, and they've had their own experience with what to do, and they will come forward and offer that. And at an early stage, I have found even myself that sometimes I'll say no thank you without even realizing I have said no thank you, and so they'll go away.
Thank you so much, Wendy. I'm going to give more thought to Wendy's ideas, and I hope that you will too.